Ian and other fellas out there, great news. If you care about male grooming and looking good, this is the news you've been waiting for. The Manscaped engineering team has created the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, which is now available for purchase in the USA and Canada. Join the over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CUPODCAST at manscaped.com.
Craftsmanship and the details on the 4.0 are next level. Their advanced ceramic blade and skin-safe technology ensures your tenderest areas are as safe as possible. What makes this trimmer different than all the other trimmers is a new multifunction on-off switch to engage a travel lock. Take it with you anywhere. Don't worry about it turning on. Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all over through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4.
Do some shapes and designs. Go for it.
And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish. Even features a hot foil-stamped black chrome Manscaped logo. Woo! Woo! Show that mower off loud and proud. The optimized Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is waterproof, so you can groom in the shower and not have to worry about making a mess on the floor. And the Lawnmower 4.0 has new wireless charging. Uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer.
If you're still using your razor to trim both your face and your balls, what is this, the 1800s? It's time to make changes. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CUPODCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com by using code CUPODCAST. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. We have, Ian, a voice call-in system.
Oh, good.
It's on a telephone. We don't have a producer. We can do a live call-in system if we had a producer to screen calls. We don't have that, unfortunately.
No,
we get someone in a glass booth behind there. Someone look up facts for us. So you go to anchor.fm/the CU podcast, and you could leave a short message or a question about something, and if we like it, we're not legally obligated to answer all of them. We'll take you on. First one here.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Mason from small town Orangefield, Texas. Big fucking fan. I hope I can swear in these.
Too late.
I just wanted to know if you guys had any plans for, collections or things you've amassed in your life for whenever you pass away, as morbid as that is. Are you wanting to have children that you can leave everything to, or do you have plans set up? If you need an heir, I'm happy to do it. Let me know. Again, big fan.
We've gotten a rash of questions like this lately. It's like the 4th or 5th time where either having kids, what happens when you die, what are people going to do when people get your games when you die? So something weird happening, or people are over concerned about our health?
Look at us. They see that we're getting dusty and old.
Getting dusty?
Getting dusty and old.
Well, you'll be in your 40s, what, next year? Maybe 40?
I'll be 39 this year, 40 next year.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Hey, Ian, and also hey, Pat.
Oh, hi.
I'm a person, and I've been thinking a lot about batteries. Do soldered on or rechargeable batteries affect which game cartridges or hardware you collect? Do you think we'll be able to find a replacement battery for the Wii U gamepad or the Game Boy Micro 15 years from now? Or are we just going to have to give them a tail and plug it into some other power source? Thanks for the thoughts.
That was a very game show type of a voiceover style.
Person's got a future.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very almost Rod Roddy-esque. All
Yes.
right. Does that affect you at all?
No, it doesn't. Not really. So far, all of those batteries have been able to be, replaced and soldered. There are companies out there that make socketed. I guess that's maybe the right word.
The socketed
replacements
batteries.
Where you can solder them in, and then you can just literally slide a battery in and out when it goes bad. We still have Game Boy Advance SP batteries that are being manufactured today. Those are 15 years old. There's a place for it. Specifically, the Wii U. Interesting, because the Wii U wasn't, popular. Sold like shit.
Sold like shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's at some point we'll get to where we can't get batteries for these anymore. But I don't think it's going to be in 15, 20 years. I think we're thinking like 100 years from now. There's always companies. Video games are popular. There are companies out here that exist specifically to make sure those things are still in production.
The only thing that has not been reproduced, even like arcade parts are being reproduced and remade. The only thing, like the arcade CRTs, are the only thing. CRT, no one's cranking out the CRTs, I think, anymore. That's a little bit more cumbersome, I think.
Sure.
That's about it. There's going to have to be a solution long term for that, for like arcades. I hear they are coming up with like a way to make an LCD look like a CRT or something. There's a way to do it, I think, but they'll figure that out. That's really the big thing is CRTs. When those go, like it's hard to get replacements.
Yeah.
For those. Let's see, like there's a bunch laying around somewhere. All right, next. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the question. That's how you would say it.
Hey guys, Jeff Dickinson here from Dallas, Texas.
Hey Jeff.
This question is to Ian, but Patrick, I'd like to have your input. Do you think physical media in the future will disappear? I'm old school. I love putting that CD into my Sony Discman, throwing those headphones on, or even putting that record on. Still the headphones, or even putting that Laserdisc movie inside my Pioneer player and watching that way. I know things are going digital, but is there still a collector value? Do you guys see in the future for this kind of stuff? For me, I still rock it and still love it. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Jeff, time marches on. Will there be it depends upon the market, and it depends upon specifically what it is, but overall, most of it will be junked. I mean, historically, it's going to be junked. That's just what it comes down to.
I think there's always going to be some form of physical media for various things. People will find ways to do it. But no, we are moving quickly towards digital, a digital future. I don't know that I'll ever see that full transition. But I was thinking about it last night, and I don't know why. Because I was.
You don't think you're going to see the full transition? It's already here.
Well, I'm saying people abandon it entirely.
Well, we're going to be gray, but like I said, the Zoomers don't care about physical media. Children are our future.
I think there's always going to be collectors, but I don't think that physical media will necessarily always exist.
But once the people that grew up with it die off, you'll be left with weirdos that are like, well, this is how people used to play Tiffany on a cassette.
I'm not saying there's going to be wide adoption. I'm just saying that, yes, that will still be around.
But for a sustainable collectible market, you need a decent amount of people, or else it falls into the model train territory.
I think I think you need to be more specific. Sure. Movies, physical media, games, physical media. That's all going to have different shelf lives, I think.
Movies is done. Yes. I mean, the only reason things is worth money now is because they haven't reprinted this stuff or it's not available for streaming. It's like the old movies Frank likes. You're competing with other boomers that want the old movies that are hard to get. Right. Like that's or same with some of the CDs too. But then again, a lot of them is like, well, like he doesn't realize he can probably get them streaming, but so he just likes the CDs.
Sure. He
still likes doing like he said, like putting the CD in, But Frank never went back to vinyl.
Hey guys, this is Aaron from the Hungry Trilobite podcast. I have a question about your coverage of the Toys R Us closing and the subsequent efforts to revamp it. Why do you think another company hasn't tried to slip into the void in the meantime and open up a similar store? Seems like it would have been the logical thing to do. Thanks.
Because retail is very difficult even before the pandemic. In terms of getting into it, having a footprint and getting the marketing out. So you can maybe survive as like a one-off. There's still probably one-off toy stores here and there. I don't know about one locally here. But we always grew up with it would be like a one-off toy store. That would carry some of the stuff, but they would carry some like G.I. Joe stuff and like My Little Pony, but it was mostly the weirder stuff.
It was mostly Playmobil. I had a place in Buffalo called Clayton's. That was that sort of place. I think yes, the timing of the pandemic made it difficult. I feel like if we hadn't lost that entire year, you might have seen something try.
Toys R Us had the few pop-up shops before in New Jersey, but before the pandemic.
What I think is most likely to happen is that you're going to see smaller stores that specialize more. There's going to be more focus. You're going to get your game stores, your video game stores, your board game stores, which we already have.
You think you might get like action figure store?
I think that's something we're going to see. I think we're going to see a figure store. And I don't think that's going to be able to be doable in all, everywhere in the U.S. But I think there is enough of a market because when you see a lot of people our age talk about, they lament the absence of toy stores, it's because a lot of them are figure collectors and they don't have anywhere to go now except for Target.
In order to take their kids.
Yeah, in order to take their kids. I think there is probably a market for a small, independent figure store. Comic shops do that to a certain degree. Like Vonnie does carry certain figures, but I think you need something larger. The problem is I don't think the distribution methods for those companies are are made with small stores in mind.
No.
There's a reason why you don't see the newest Mattel toys in other places. You didn't see them in other places besides Toys R Us or KB. Is because I think they needed to order in such a quantity.
They also got a lot of exclusives. KB used to have exclusive like X-Men figures. There was like, oh, this is the Weapon X version of the Wolverine figure. Toys R Us would have exclusive versions of stuff. A one-off can't do that. They also don't have the buying power that like a Target has or a Walmart. And I'm more thinking about a Toys R Us environment for a child, and that's really what the biggest loss is. Because when you go into a Target, you get like 3-4 aisles of toys, yeah, but you're not getting the variety that you got in Toys R Us. You're not getting the weird stuff to have a chance. It's limited shelf space of stuff that they know Target knows we're going to put out stuff that's going to sell. So it's only going to be Marvel. It's only going to be Star Wars. No weird shit anymore. You won't get Mask in 2020. You won't get like the weird shit unless there's a property attached. Well, Mask had a property. You know what I'm saying? You won't get the weird stuff like Air Raiders. That's a good one. Air Raiders was a cool toy in the 80s that was around for like a year. Yeah. That would never get a chance nowadays to be a major toy. You know, never get a chance to have commercials and you know what I mean? Like I watch all these 80s commercials. There's all these toys that are like, wow, that's weird and strange. You don't see that stuff probably anymore being pushed as much because you don't have a Toys R Us. You don't have a Kitty City. You don't have a Child's World / Child Pals. You don't.
Right.
You don't have the space. It's a shame. All right. Next here from this fellow.
Hey, Pat and Ian. It's Andrew from New York. Pat, I watched Flea Market Madness since the beginning. Ian, I watched you since the beginning. On with Pat. My question is, if an alien race came down to Earth, what 3 games would you give him if he wanted to know what video games were?
That's actually a great question. That was going to be a full topic.
Doom 2, Super Mario Brothers.
Doom 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Well, you'd scare them because we were shooting aliens. They wouldn't like that.
I mean, I think we're going to understand that it's video games, but I'm not worried about scaring them. Doom 2, Super Mario Brothers, Pac-Man.
Okay, I was with you, Pac-Man. I think you have to go simple first, not to scare them. Do you want to scare them? We don't know. We don't know how or if they're like, are they microbes? Are they like little blobby guys? Or are they like have you know what I mean? Yeah, Pac-Man's up there.
I mean, you might want to throw something. You might want to throw something more modern there. Throw a Halo in there or something.
Don't shoot the aliens. You
well,
want to start a war. That's come on. Bad. Can't be you as president.
It's probably bad.
Be like Mars attacks. I think it's interesting that they're basically been softening us the past couple years to public to basically announce that aliens exist. I think we're getting to that point with our government. If you've noticed, they're like, oh yeah, we don't know what this stuff was officially from the Pentagon. Like they're softening us. I'm not saying there's gonna be a major announcement, but they're softening us for something that's happening. They are. You haven't seen all the stuff come out?
Yes, I have.
And other countries have already said in the past, oh yeah, there's stuff. And so the U.S. is like one of the last major ones holding on and saying, oh, we're afraid of telling the people. There's so much bad shit that's happened. How can it get worse? That alien, they're going to blow up the planet. Come and do it. Put us out of our misery. Great. All right. Next.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Pat from Boston.
Hey.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. The show rocks. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I've got a question primarily for Ian, but I know both of you have discussed
Why?
this in the
It's always
past.
for Ian.
It's breakfast food.
Yes.
I'm a big breakfast sandwich lover.
Yes.
However, oddly, I've never gotten into omelets, so
What?
I'm curious, what are some ingredients that you would throw into an omelet, perhaps that are unique or not thought of, that would kick it into high gear and make somebody who's never really been passionate about them fall in love with them?
Come on, Pat. I call you Pat, Patrick. You're in Boston. There's tons of diners. You go to any nice diner, they'll have like 15 different omelet options. You start from there. You got like the Western omelet. You got some with like bacon in it with like Swiss cheese. You got the veggie omelet. My mouth's going wild. You can do one with like broccoli and sliced up tomatoes in there. An omelet's like the omelet's like choose your own breakfast adventure. That's why I love omelets. You can do whatever you want. You put olives in there if you want. Feta cheese.
Two of my favorite.
It's fantastic. Omelet's great.
Two of my favorite omelet ingredients, since this question was directed at me, Patrick.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, I'm going to buy you. I'm done. All right, bye, everyone. Go
would be mushroom and avocado. Not necessarily at the same time, but they're very, very good omelet fillings. Avocado in omelet was not something I had had until I came out to San Diego.
On top?
No, in right before they roll it up.
Right before they roll it up.
Yeah. It's
not guac. You're saying just slice it up.
Sliced avocado. It's creamy. It's delicious. It's easily one of my favorite things that I've started putting in omelets. And I wanted to say,
gummy bears.
Mentioned breakfast sandwiches. I have really been working on some great. I've been trying to perfect the simple egg and cheese breakfast sandwich. It's my favorite. I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to breakfast sandwiches, egg and cheese is basically all I need. Bacon,
I need
nice.
Meat.
Sausage,
I like a meat.
Fine. But no, I love the simplicity of a basic egg and cheese.
What do you put on a piece of toast? Like what do you put on toast?
So I've been using nice wheat rolls. I've been using nice I can't remember what they're called. It's like a Mexican roll.
How about a ciabatta bread?
I don't like ciabatta bread.
Really?
It's everything just shoots out the fucking back. But I've been cutting it and then buttering it and then grilling them real nice and toasty in the cast iron pan, so they get that crispy, crunchy, salty, buttery layer. And then I've been mixing. I've been making a spicy mayo with sriracha.
Ian, what are you doing, buddy?
And mayo.
You gotta
spread that on.
You need a food truck, Ian. That's your
two scrambled eggs, cheddar cheese.
Ian's food truck. Ian's food truck. That's your future.
Amazing. God, it should.
Quit the podcast. Quit Luna. Ian's food truck.
Quit everything. I'm just gonna live in the truck.
The food truck life actually sounds really appealing. You converse with people. You make some money.
Doesn't sound bad.
Not a lot of overhead. Yes, you need your permits, your health permits, but you don't own a restaurant. It's a fucking truck.
Got to rent a kitchen.
What's that?
You usually got to rent a kitchen to do prep work and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't do the prep work yourself?
I mean, you can. You rent kitchen space to do the prep work. So you can have a stove in front of you and big counters. You prep everything and then you get everything together in the truck and you finish it in the truck on the
So where do you go then to do the prep?
You find like community kitchens that you can rent out.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a lot of money.
No, I mean it can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Then you get the helper to help. You throw them a few bucks. It's fantastic. Yeah, I see that in your future. And you'll be semi-retired. Fuck the podcast. Go make food. That's your dream. That's your passion.
That's what I should be doing.
See? Do 4 or 5 more. We got time. This is a shorter podcast so far. I just had it in front of me and I lost it.
Hey guys, it's Andrew of Ukraine. So Ian, I have a question to you. Since you have started telling us stories from the game stores, did any person from those stories reached out to you and said like, yo, what the heck? Why are you telling crap about us on that internet radio or whatever you do? So did it happen? Somebody was angry with stories or whatever? Thank you. Bye.
No one has come and spoken to me about being discussed on the podcast or in a Tales from the Game Store. That said, it's one of there are two main reasons why I don't do them anymore. One, the attention is not worth it at work. And two, I don't want to run into that situation. As the podcast gets bigger and bigger, the likelihood of people knowing that it's not like it's massive, but the more time goes on, the more likely it is that someone will know that I do the podcast. And I don't want to get to that situation where I speak about someone and someone comes back and says something.
Man, you talked about me and my balls hanging out of my...
God damn it.
My shorts.
Yeah.
Out of my... What was it? Basketball shorts?
Wearing basketball shorts.
That's a good one.
I think he just meant to adjust his shorts, but he adjusted both.
Buonasera, Uncle Pat and Uncle Ian. J-Bo here again.
Oh, hi.
L-O-N-D-O-N. So, another quick question.
Oh, from the UK.
Well, not even a question, a rant.
He's called before.
I've had enough of the disrespect for the Game Gear.
What?
That was my favourite handheld growing up, Pat. That's enough. All I want to know is, what was you guys' most played handheld and game too? Mine was probably Sega Game Gear, Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, and then Game Boy Color, Pokemon Yellow. What's yours, lads? Let's go. Keep it up.
Hey, J-Bo, I don't remember ever trashing the Game Gear ever. I'm feeling very threatened. Have I ever trashed the Game Gear?
You probably have.
I probably just said it's a Master System. It got retreads on it. That's basically what I probably said.
My buddy Rick has been getting into the Game Gear lately, and his response to me is, I can recommend the games on the Game Gear. He's like, there's a lot of good games on the Game Gear. I can't recommend the Game Gear system.
Yes, that's probably what I said. The hardware itself is trash. The actual... not the platform, the hardware, that piece,
sure,
that blocky piece of garbage with a bad screen and eating batteries, that's not good. Maybe that's what you thought. That's probably what you meant.
In terms of games that my favorite handhelds, the original Game Boy and the Neo Geo Pocket Color. On the original Game Boy, I don't think there's a game I've played more than Kirby's Pinball Land. And on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, I played a considerable amount of Bust a Move Puzzle Bobble on that thing in high school, my last year of high school.
Oh, nice.
And one of the exchange students, my friend John, actually my co-host on Extra Napkins, got one. And there was an exchange student from China who was really into them. So he actually went out and bought one and got the link cable, and we would play in homeroom and at lunch.
Nice. All right, next here.
Hey, Matt and Ben. I'm just curious, do you guys follow any other YouTube channels not gaming related?
What do you think, Ben?
You say Matt and Ben? that's what I thought. No, not really. Well, lately I've been using YouTube a lot more. What I do at night is I get high, and then I grab my crochet, and I put my Switch in the dock, and I load up YouTube, and I watch first-person view journeys of subway routes and trains.
Wait, what? People go on trains? And
Conductors will, the people who are driving it will take video of basically a first-person view of what it looks like from when they're sitting in the seat. And I've watched trains through Helsinki, subways through New York. They're anywhere from like half an hour to some are like 8 to 8 hours long.
We all want to be a conductor when we were a kid on a train. Choo-choo.
I love trains. They're relaxing, just the sound. Honestly, most of the time most of the time I turn those videos on, and when I'm crocheting, I'm looking at my hands, but the sound is very relaxing to me at night.
I wish we had a better train system in the U.S.
So do I, and we'll never get it. We missed that opportunity.
I don't know if we missed it, but I mean, like...
No one's going to put the money into it now.
Because you can't get money out of it easily.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
No, we would need an extraordinarily altruistic person to just dump money into it.
Well, the government can make it a project, but like, yeah, super high-speed rail that you can go across, states in like, a couple hours.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. That'd be great. Oh, well. Let's see, a few more here. Jonathan.
Ian, Pat, this is Jonathan from Denver. You might remember me as the guy who said he wanted to feed Ian and fight Pat. And for the record, I'll do either. As long as you guys are down, I'll feed or fight both of you. But
okay, Ian, real quick, can we take Jonathan both 2-on-1?
Probably not. I'm not a fighter.
Just grab his legs. That's all. We got it outside change. Just grab his legs and hold on.
My neck has been moving around a lot lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. A little concerned that I'll throw something out.
Sorry.
But I'll take the food.
Hype train's derailing, and I wanted to hear what video game hype you guys got caught up in, and what was the outcome? How hard did it crash, or how high did it live up to expectations? I figured you guys could get into that. It sounds like a pretty cool conversation. Keep up the good work, man. I love every week.
Hey, John.
Again, later.
Pumping up your own question here, John. I like the confidence. It'd probably be cool if you guys talked about it.
I think that would be fun if I had a little bit more time to think about it. However, I rarely fall victim to hype. I've been good about that even since I was younger. That's just one thing that I've kind of tried to avoid. However, it was impossible coming off of Final Fantasy VII not to be hyped up for Final Fantasy VIII if you were playing video games, especially like I was in high school at that time when it came out. And I remember playing Final Fantasy VIII and just waiting for that feeling to grab me, like Final Fantasy VII did. And I don't think Final Fantasy VII is the greatest game ever. But I think what I failed to realize was that Final Fantasy VII was so... A lot of people remember Final Fantasy VII fondly because of the transition that it represented. The transition from sprite-based graphics to 3D graphics. The transition into the FMV era of video games with cinematic cutscenes and things like that. And that magic trick can only be done once before you've seen it. So Final Fantasy VIII was a big letdown to me. And I know that recently there's been a lot of kind of revisionist, well, no, maybe it is a good game. And it's not awful, but it wasn't a great game to begin with. But that's the big one for me. I remember getting Final Fantasy VIII and just it it didn't grab me the way I was expecting it to. In terms of something that really lived up to the expectations, unfortunately, I'd have to think about that more.
Sure. So two more.
Hey guys, this is Paul from Raleigh, NC again. Look, we all know about the amazing ALF game for the Sega Master System. But what 80s sitcom do you wish had been made into a video game? Personally, I would have loved a Golden Girls point-and-click adventure game.
The Golden Girls worked more as a point and click, or like, could you do a platformer with that? No. Couldn't do a platformer. Well, they had a married children game, and they were thinking about doing one on the NES. And looking back, I'm like, well, it's probably a good idea they didn't do that. That'd be very hard to translate that over that humor. I'm guessing could have been a point and click. I'm guessing.
All of those games would have worked best as point and clicks because they're all story based. None of those shows would be like particularly great for action games.
Well, Al's bar fights were the funniest thing we ever got in a fist fight. Like Ed O'Neill's like humor with the fight, like he could actually throw a punch because he actually knew how to fight, or knows how to fight in real life. But it was funny as hell seeing him get beat up in the bars and stuff. But I'm trying to think about something, another sitcom that would have been good. Is there any that are action based that would have been good?
I was just about to be like Knight Rider, but they made it.
They made that, and yeah. I mean, that's not a sitcom though. It's just an action thing.
I don't know. Give me
Silver Spoons RPG. I don't know.
Give me Perfect Strangers. Belky's got to rescue Larry.
Well, remember that site they had with the Flash game? They took it down like a few days afterwards.
No,
it wasn't licensed. It was to promote the DVD coming out. We're talking like this is 10
oh my god, no, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was a Flash game where it was basically like rhythm based with it standing tall. But it was like a 3D third person thing on like a rainbow or something. You never saw that?
No.
All right, you can pull it up. One more question here.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. Chris here from Rhode Island. Pat, I had the pleasure of meeting you at the last PAX East.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about the parallels of the Italian food in Rhode Island and Jersey. Last week you mentioned Zeppelis. Up here we call them Zappalas. And if you call them Zeppelis, we make fun of you. Anyway, my question...
Okay, Chris. Let me stop it for a second there, Chris. I know it's called Zappalas. I know it's prosciutto. I know it's mozzarella. But the problem is, if I say that on the podcast, no one will know what the hell we're talking about. That's inside language for us Ginzans, right? If I say this stuff, you could even Google it. It's basically, when you say this stuff, it's like a poor Italian dialect.
Sure.
It's Sicilian. When you say like Sciadel, like that's nothing how it's spelled. Nothing how these words are spelled. You know, the Italian dessert, like pastry. Chris, it's for everyone else, Chris. That's what it is. Okay, next.
Anyway, my question, Sword of Sodan for the Sega Genesis is a horrible game,
yes,
but I still love it for my own reasons.
Me too.
So I'm just curious, what are some of the worst games you guys love for whatever reason? Okay, thanks, bye.
All right, Chris, you redeem yourself. Sword of Sodan is a bad game that I love.
Really? I've never played that one.
And I loved it on the computer. I saw it on the in a computer shop in like 87. Like it probably was an Egghead software. I was like, look at this. Oh, there's blood. You can you see blood when you hack the people and stuff. And then it was translated to the Genesis. It's the clumsiest, trying to be edgy, you're a warrior, female warrior. You never heard of that game before?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
It's one of those games that once you see it, like, wow, this came out?
Yeah.
It's like, it's violent. You get the gameplay itself is horrendous. How you move and but it's very violent, like the themes of it. Like you have like executioners with axes and stuff. It was probably came out like 88 on the PC, 87, and it came out in Genesis probably 90, 91. EA published it. Is there any ones like that appeal to you, like that are horrible? Don't say Wally Bear.
Wally Bear.
All right, that's it. We're done.
We're done.
We're fucking done.
That's the end of the podcast. Right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for the Zeppelis, Chris.